Hey there, everybody. Tim from Alpha Wolf Trading coming at you with another CEO interview. Today, we have a very special guest and a very interesting story. I have to tell you, in my 30 years of investing, I cannot recall a product that could be as revolutionary as this product has and I believe likelihood that it will revolutionize at least two industries. And when we get through with this presentation, I think I'm going to warn you now, this is probably going to be a little bit longer of an interview, but I think that by the end of this, you should have a really clear understanding of the product and understand why I think this is such a game changer. So first off, the name of the company is SKY Technologies, also SQL Technologies, ticker symbol SKYX. And we are very fortunate to have the founder, the inventor, and the chairman of SKY Technologies here with us today, Rani Kohen. Ronnie, I want to thank you for coming in. And I think, before we get into the big product reveal, what I'd like to do is I'd like to have you give us, a background on you, who Ronnie is, and how Ronnie got here, and take it from there.
My pleasure. I was a businessman since my teens. I started in music, and I was a DJ, then did productions, then parties, was involved with nightclubs and all the party and really music promotions and a music company that really as a party producer. So, and then I went to military 3 years, and during military time, you're 18 years old and you go through 3 years mandatory military when I did in Israel, and you see the worst things that can happen. And I, during that time, continued my business, and then came up, was involved in lighting business and real estate business and other businesses. I had some nice successes in life, went through tough times too. I saw both sides of the aisle. And then I was really involved in real estate and some projects here. We bought, big projects, me and my partners. And then I saw this need of improving light fixture or installation based on the safety aspects and the time it takes you to go on a ladder and install a light fixture. Spend so much time on the ladder and then touching hazardous wires. It's really every light fixture that's installed, and talk about market of billions a year. It's a risk. Going on the ladder, touching hazardous wires is a risk. And then I said to myself, it must be a better way to make this happen. So I was looking for a better way, and I did not see any better way to really make it happen. I had an idea from the past that I was working on already in my mind, because I really thought that might be a need. But when I really got involved in real estate, this is where I said, I need to open a company. I need to make a company that really focuses on this. And I made my, as a business guy, I never thought I can invent, but I did start inventing, and people liked my first invention. And that's how I started the company, with a plug and play solution for light fixtures.
Before we get there, before we describe it, I want to talk about, so you have a mission, and the mission is built around a very core fundamental reason, and that is safety.
Correct. So really the safety, and that's how I triggered, like when I saw the risk associated, as I mentioned a minute ago, on standing on ladders, touching wires. I understood how big the TAM, the total addressable market, on billions of installations. I said to myself, okay, I have my first invention. How can I enhance it with more sensors, with more life-saving aspects? Because the foundation of our company is really, and you had the slide there with the wave, that I like to, we're really riding the wave of safety, because I think safety is a necessity. So you feel good about yourself if you can have a product that saves lives, okay? And it motivates a lot of people to join our company and see the mission that we're real people and we're trying to make the world a better place. And really, a lot of companies say it and I respect them, but really, if you look at what we do, we really do it. And we really enhance safety and save, I don't know, a huge amount of lives, injuries.
If you save one,
exactly.
I
One is
would say you did your job, right? I mean, who else
exactly.
can say that? I mean, if you can save one life or, reduce somebody's risk to injury, even if you don't, they don't die, but just getting hurt and having the bills of the hospital, or maybe they need surgery because they break a leg or whatever, you risk those reducing those outcomes is a significant thing, I would think.
100%. And saving one life is, we lose someone in our family, we lose a dog. Think about what we think in life and how sad that can be. So really saving one life is huge. And imagine a company that can save many, many, many lives. And on the commercial side, there's always also, so the regulators will always back you when you can save lives, okay? Because there's regulators that of industries, and the NEC, for example, for electrical and others, their criteria is really here to save lives and make the world a better place, okay? And that's why we're working with them. And then you go to insurance companies that for financial reasons, want to save lives and also want to prevent from hazardous incidents. So I think those regulators and insurance companies and many others are really, when they look at us, really like what we do and understand. But the key thing is that when you go to consumers and you tell them safety, 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 sometimes, consumers, won't be 100% with you. Not all of them, a lot of them, yes, thank God. But when you combine, okay, safety with enhancing smart home lifestyle, okay, I think it makes it even a bigger winner, because the safety is a necessity, and with time, regulators and insurance companies will make it happen for you. But on the other side, if you also have this
simplicity and time savings are two the things that just pop up right off the map for me, for you, right? Simplicity and time savings. One thing that none of us can ever get back is time. We spend it and that's it. There's no going back and getting that time back, right? So if I can take a project that would typically take me 20 minutes to a half an hour and reduce that down to 30 seconds, what is that worth? I mean, what is that worth, right? Time is very important to me. I'm sure time is very important to you. I think time should be important to everybody, right? And that is one thing that we can never get back. So if you've got something that is simple and reduces time on top of safety, and I mean, that's a very powerful winning combination to me, right?
I agree with you, and I agree with you. I invested my life on this project for so many years, so obviously I do agree with you. And I have joined a lot of people that we can mention soon. Some of them, they deserve a lot of credit for joining us and helping us to where we are today and for our future. But yes, the combination of life saving, cost saving, time saving, okay, is huge, because usually in life, and that's when you have something that's safer, that's faster, that's better, you pay more. In our situation, okay, you have something that's safer, faster, okay, easier, okay, and much more comfortable, and you pay less. And sometimes it's hard to believe, but if you combine those aspects, this is a huge feature features that we bring together, that each one of them has a ton of value, but combining it together, some people I heard said, Ronnie, that's nuclearist. And I believe that once we start showing what we have, a lot of people are going to relate to that.
All right, so let's go there. I do want to highlight on the NEC electrical code, and it's a US building safety code, right? So the last thing that was approved or backed by the NEC was the GFI breaker, which was like back in 1986 or so, right?
Right. And NEC, to people that don't know, it's the National Electrical Safety Code, the NEC, National Electrical Code. And really, it's an organization that really thrives on mandating things that really save lives, and that's something we decided to go through this path because you think about, for example, the airbag. Okay,
That's a
so the
great
guy
example.
invented, yeah, the guy that invented the airbag. Okay, instead of chasing the car manufacturers, please install a safety gadget, going to cost you so much or whatever. Okay, in our case, it doesn't cost so much, so it's even easier. But we decided not to really chase lighting companies because we saw the safety aspect, and we also saw the quantities. There was no way that we can, take an entire market with this, and we understood that the life-saving aspect is big. So we really conducted the airbag business plan, if you want to call it. So the guy that invented an airbag, or whoever invented the airbag, did not go to the car manufacturers. He went to the regulators. And the regulators, when they saw the life-saving aspects of the airbag, what did they do? They spec'd it on every car in the US, right? And what happened in the rest of the world? The rest of the world adopted. So if you take, billions of installations globally, and I believe that's a number in hundreds of millions of installations that we believe here in the US at least, annually on an annual basis, means that people go on ladder, spend a lot of time on the ladder touching hazardous incidents. So that with the things that can happen with ladder falling, electrocutions, and even worse than everything, fires, that even if you did it okay, but by twisting wires and it's not a plug and play safe connection, many hazards are occur during the installation and many times after. Okay, and fires, and if you quantify the with hundreds of millions of installations, if you take the 10% only go wrong, okay, or globally 10% from billions, they're huge numbers. And if you really quantify, and in most of the cases, it's going to be a short circuit and you're going okay. But if you take 1% of those installations, you're talking about millions of hazardous incidents every year that include short circuits in the good case, but ladder falling, electrocutions, injuries, and death, and fires and death and injuries in the bad case. And that happens every year. And we have a solution that's going to prevent it. And as you said, and the airbag model, as I said, and as you said, it's also, while doing it, it saves you time. Okay, it's easier. Okay. And it can save you cost. If you're paying for someone, it saves you a lot of cost.
So let's define what this is. So, but before we go there, I want to talk about the fact that the light bulb, when it was invented, actually originally just had a couple of wires that were coming out of it. You actually had to have that wired up. And if you think about if the socket was never invented to screw the bulb in, you'd have to hire an electrician to come out and change your bulb for you every time, right?
Yeah.
But thankfully, the socket did become invented, and really that is what made the light bulb such a quickly adapted product, right?
Yes, and it's funny because just one of the things that people don't know on the Edison bulb, to, in my opinion, one of the biggest inventions ever, if not the biggest. Imagine we living in the dark, right? It also, the wall socket started from a plug and play before it became a plug and play, was wired. But the Edison bulb was really wired to the ceiling, wired before the bulb socket happened. And Edison, when he invented this and started General Electric as a company, they got all the publicity, obviously, and deserve it, from the light bulb. But the revenues clicked in when they created the bulb socket, enabled every person in the planet to unscrew a bulb, and that created a global standard. And that's exactly what we call, what we're doing in the model is, because of safety aspects, instead of touching wires, going on the ladder with the first light bulbs, that was invented. And to make it a plug and play. So you go on, instead of spending hours on the ladder, the first installation, you spend a couple of minutes, and then the second installation, a couple of seconds. You just go plug and play, similar to how you would, plug in a charger for a cell phone. And it has a weight bearing mechanism, so it's safe, and it has a double locking mechanism that saves you way more than even what the box itself will hold. So it's a win-win, as you said, plug and play, not touching wires, and saves times, a lot of time, probably 90% of time on the ladder, 90% of time of touching wires. Okay. And that's a first installation. Then it's 100% of when you go on this, you eliminate really the 100% of time of touching wires. And you also can save sometimes a lot of money in the process. If you're paying for someone to do it, you can do it by yourself.
Right. Even then, even if you're not the one that's doing the install, okay, that's fine. But you're going to pay a lot of money. You may not be losing that half hour of time trying to do the install by yourself, but you're still going to pay somebody to do that, right? And it's going to run them about 20, 30 minutes to get it done, right? That's
right. Right. And it's another thing is the point of mention. So we sold already 1 million units of our standard device, and now we're going all smart, kind of, I call it the Netflix model. When Netflix,
you're getting ahead of us.
Yeah. They decided not to do CDs and go on stream. We're doing it with the smart, but we sold 1 million units. And surprisingly, a lot of our customers were electricians or people handymen, because you go to a house to install a house, all the light fixtures in the house for the day, it depends on the size of the house, can take from a day to days. Okay. So, and if it's only a few fixtures, it's hours. Okay. So here, if they have our plug and play system, they can do it in minutes per installation. Okay. So they can come to a site and leave it within an hour, install 10 fixtures. Okay. So they won't charge the full price on 10 fixtures, but if you quantified what they did in an hour, they do much more. Okay. Because even if the discount is 50%,
competitive advantage.
Exactly. So we found that actually they really like our product, and they would use it a lot, because they could do much more and much faster. And it actually they actually more dollars during that short.
All right. So this is what we currently have. You've got wires hanging out of the ceiling. I just replaced my ceiling fan in my office, literally. And, I was up on the ladder. You got to hold the fan up while you're wiring it up, because the wires are only so long. And then you've got to, get the thing up there and make sure it's secure. And like you said, hopefully you wired it correctly, right?
Yeah.
So you're up there with the wire clippers and all this other stuff, as opposed to essentially taking so you have, let me back this up here. You've got, just like you have on a wall outlet, wall receptacle, you've got your junction box, your receptacle, a cover plate, boom, right? You've got your junction box, you've got your receptacle, and then you've got your cover plate. And boom. Now you literally walk up with your chandelier, and you climb up the ladder, you push it up, and then you twist, right? Just a half twist.
For the light fixtures, it's just a plug and play. With a ceiling fan is a small twist, just to prevent from wobbling. So it's the plug installs it. It's fine. It's a plug and play. And then we have double mechanism that actually holds 200 pounds each level. So it's actually 200 plus 200 pounds. You have 2 locks of 200 pounds each. Now, important to say is we spec it only to 50 pounds, because that's what your box is spec'd into. So when it comes to a light fixture, it's just plug and play, no twist. When it comes to the ceiling fan, there's a plug and play and an extra small twist, just to prevent the wobbling from happening. Because as you know, ceiling fans, it takes really, when you put it on full strength on level 3 or 4, it can have some wobbling at times, and that's important to prevent that.
Okay. So it's very, very simple. So you've got your receptacle that's up there, you got your cover plate, and that's just sitting, like, if you think about when you move into a finished home, that's up there in your ceiling, as opposed to a cover plate that you would see now. If there's not a ceiling fan there or a light fixture, it'd just be a plastic cover plate, and then underneath is just wires in the junction box, right?
Right.
So that is what you would see. And I believe that when you get the NEC, and just for how long has the process taken for you to get the NEC rating that you are going after?
So it's a long process. We got voted, and we have 10 segments already in the National Electrical Code Book. And it's a process for at least 7 or 8 years, or probably even more. As we started, we achieved, I think we'll have some good things that I hope at least we'll have some good things to announce on more progress what we did. But today we can also enable a builder to get the certificate of occupancy when it comes to lighting much faster, because what happens with builders when they install, in order to get in the certificate of occupancy, in most of the cases, you need to install a light fixture in every room, every corridor, every laundry room, balcony, etc. And here, so what you do is the builders usually buy a cheap fixture and some $10, $20, but then they install it in every room. And that takes time and costs a lot of money. And it can take hours and hours to do each home to get the certificate of occupancy. So this has a significant cost between the hours you pay an electrician to the fixtures you bought. In our case, you can really go and have the receptacle on the ceiling like you would have a receptacle on the wall. So our ceiling receptacle will enable you to get the certificate of occupancy, and that's already approved, that without need to install the light fixtures in most cases, and
which is actually the benefit to the homeowner, or because of if they put the cheap fixtures in, right, that are just cheap and not all that attractive, what's the homeowner gonna do anyway? They're gonna replace the light fixtures, right?
Exactly. So
and
that's
put what they want in there.
In many cases, they'll come back and say, "Hey, that's not the picture you showed me in the brochure." And they said, "No problem. Now that when you get the certificate of occupancy, you usually can break the escrow, and now you have the money to spend." And they say, "Yes, no problem. We'll change those fixtures." And then they send an electrician again, and hours on the ladder, touching hazardous wires. So it's something that's really costing builders, and sometimes in many cases they don't know it. It's just that that's how the standard is. But
it's the way they've been doing it for 30 years or whatever.
Yes. And then you mentioned the GFCI. So really, what people don't know, the NEC is a national electrical code. That it's right that every state has its own building codes. But when it comes to electrical and fire, for fire is National Protective Association, NFPA, and for electrical is a division of the NFPA that's called NEC, National Electrical Code. So those are nationwide code that goes, because of safety aspects, they go on all states. And to explain to people that don't know what exactly the NEC is kind of an FDA, if you would want, for electrical. Okay, so it's for life saving. And the last major change they had is, so we said we're working the airbag model, specing like airbag is spec'd in every car. We believe one day will be spec'd in every home as a must. But the GFCI did exactly the same process. So the GFCI is the receptacle with the switch you have in bathrooms and many times in kitchens is something similar. And then that you can't get a certificate of occupancy if you don't have it in every bathroom or in many kitchens. Why? Again, on safety. When you bet on safety, and that's why, the second part is going to show the gadgets we have and what we're doing. But really, when you're betting on safety, when you can prove life-saving aspects, it's just a matter of time, okay, until you complete. It took many years to the airbags. It took many years to the GFCIs. It took us really, as you asked, we were really at least 7-8 years, of probably more in the process. But this is a process you need to prove yourself to everyone understand that the device works okay, and more than okay, saves lives. It's a plug and play. And really, we feel that we're really very close to the final process of this. But, you never know. It's, it's not up to us, the timetable. But we believe we have a very, very strong case.
Right, we've explained what the product is. I'm going to back up for a second here, because I want people to understand the amount of brain power and wisdom and experience your entire staff, advisors, board, creators that are involved in this project, right? So if we can, let's just highlight some of the individuals that are pretty significant.
Yeah, we're blessed. We have brilliant people that joined us, and what's very unique that most of them joined us and invested with us, actually, and I'll say the names who invested, and most of them also are taking no salary and just getting compensated by stock and stock options based on their own success and their own achievements in the company. And that's a big statement, because we have, for example, our lead director is Governor Tom Ridge, first head of Homeland Security, 2 times governor of Pennsylvania. Believe it or not, he invested with us. He saw an early stage, he invested, he's here with me already, helping me on this project. And he actually, it's funny to say, he and I, with Patty Barron, our CEO, we started the code process. The 3 of us, we went to those committees, and it way over 8 years ago, I believe the first time was. And then now we have our president, Steve Schmidt, that also invested with us, actually invested in our last round pre-IPO at $12 a share we were. And he's a former CEO of AC Nielsen. He's the former president of Office Depot International, ran 6,000 Office Depots around the world. He joined as an investor, but start working with me and with the team and see what we're doing, and really joined to co-pilot with me the company, and then really took an official position as the president. Our CEO is John Campy. John Campy was introduced to me by one of our first and lead investors, Bob Nardelli, former CEO of Chrysler and former CEO of Home Depot. And John Campy's also invested with us, but also was the first, was the number 2 guy for Nardelli in almost every position Nardelli had in I think in G Power Systems and Home Depot. He was also very senior, and in Chrysler. And he, Bob really highly recommended him to me, and he's here with us also for a long amount of time, invested with us. His family invested with us. People really believe in us, and we don't take it for granted. That's why I like to mention, and they're not taking salaries too. And as I said before, we talking about the NEC. The most senior maybe person we have on our team is the former head of the National Electrical Code, Mark Early, that after 35 years of running the NEC, the National Electrical Code, that means that every nuclear site in the country, every military base, every hospital, airport, commercial or residential structure in the country for 35 years was signed off on his structure, and he was responsible for the whole organization. Again, people don't know the NEC, but it's kind of, if we were a pharmaceutical company from South Florida, where we are, the Miami area, it's like the head of FDA joining a pharmaceutical company. We're not pharmaceutical, but the head of National Electrical Code joining us, leading our code division, and he's top right on our org chart. We don't take those things for granted. Now, I also want to say with Total, we have several G executives that were involved in lighting and very senior positions. Also, most of them invested with us, if not all of them. And then we have key office in Israel that it's our tech support and a lot of the genius brains we bring from the Israeli military. Really unbelievable IQ. I don't think any company in the country has, based on our size, the IQ level we have here. And it's important to mention it, because without those good people, we wouldn't be here today where we are. And we're talking about people, and we'll soon say, we kind of address mostly the first invention and the safety, what we call the airbag model on our first invention. But now we're going to talk about how we took it to the smart home world.
So number one, you are not prohibited from selling your product because you don't have the NEC. I mean, you can sell the product, no problem.
Absolutely, yes. And as I mentioned, first of all, we sold already 1 million units on our product, but we decided to, instead of selling 1 million units and trying to sell hundreds of millions, and you're going to get 10 competitors, the quality is going to drop, the pricing is going to drop. We didn't want to go there. And that's why we decided to conduct what we call, again, the safety airbag program. Prove the regulators that it's life savings, and they'll work with you. And it's important to say, the question is, so we already have UL and other certificate that permits us to sell it in the market, and we did sell 1 million units, and we sold the standard one, the old one, 1 million units. We generated tens of millions in revenues. Okay, we never thought we were going to be a public company. We really believe in the safety aspect, and we think that's going to enhance the entire lighting industry, because if it takes you hours and costs so much and it's so dangerous to install a light fixture, if it comes like the GFCI, that the NEC approved as mandatory. If it happens there, then you can plug and play fixtures, and probably they're gonna be more often changed, okay, and it's going to enhance all the business of all the lighting industry, plug and play for, changing fixtures more often for different occasions, holidays, all kinds of other things that you want to plug and play your fixtures. So for us, it's a very important thing for safety, but also very important to mention is that one of the conditions that we agreed on, okay, in order to even submit for the process as we started, as we're going to open our books to fair licensing and a very low market prices to everyone, okay? Because you can't be a monopoly with something like this. And it's not our intention, our intention is that as you have here, I'm holding in my hand, that's a receptacle, and that's really the plug itself, okay? So I'm plugging the plug, that's a plug, that's a receptacle. You plug it in, okay? And that's it. So our intention is for people, and as easy as that, to plug and play fixtures for safety aspects, and everyone that does fixtures is going to enjoy and benefit. And we're willing to license it to everyone that does it. And that's one of the partnerships we have with GE. We have 2 partnerships with GE. We can use the GE name on some of our products. And then we also have a master global licensing agreement with them. The GE will address licensing globally, US and globally, as we progress with the code to really, we subcontract the licensing aspect to GE. It's a very good deal for us and them. GE is very well known in creating standards, and Lightbulb socket, the first one. Many standards GE created in aviation, medical, and others. Most of the screens that will be watching it are using a technology that's called LED phosphor. GE licensed them, I believe, to the top 24 electronic companies in the world. So we think we have a good partner in GE by creating a global standard with this. So we have the regulators, we have key insurance people invested with us, by the way, leading members of that we opened. You can see our press release about Paul Chernovsky joined us, the founder of Endurance, took this company from zero to a very big company. And he really strongly believes that insurance companies are going to also support and help enhancing our products for safety aspects. So we have, the GE people believing us, the code people, Mark Early, as we said, that the head of the NEC, that's really probably our senior member that joined us, all believe that that's going to become a global standard. And if you think about it, we've been to the moon 1969, and we're still people going on ladders and spending hours installing fixtures when there's a solution. So we strongly, all of us, believe it's a matter of time. And as you can see here on your screen, those are 3 historical additions to the National Electrical Code. The first one on the left is the wall receptacle. That's imagine what we did without this. What we would do without this, no product would invent. Imagine the things were plugged inside, and then the GFCI that we mentioned, and then us being, in 10 segments in the NEC code book, voted into the 10 segments. It's a historical event. We also, by the way, changed the definition of a receptacle. The definition of the receptacle, people don't know, was 120 years ago, and it was only meant for a wall receptacle. And based on our code achievements, they had to change the definition of the receptacle that was there for 120 years to say that a receptacle can be a wall receptacle or a ceiling receptacle. So this is quite significant. And since the GFCI, if you look at your house, nothing happened. That's the only major change in homes and that happened with the NEC. And NEC is an organization that saves lives, really, accepted our product to get to that level where we are today. And we hope and believe that we can follow the path of the GFCI, or as we call it, the airbag model.
There are some within GE, or have a history with GE, that would compare what you have to maybe like a reincarnation of the light bulb socket, right? Very comparable type scenario.
Yeah, it wasn't one of the slides, and I think a magazine published it. One of the slides really shows the comparison here. If you see the center here, you just got it. If you see the center photo with, and we said it earlier, with the light bulb socket, and the light bulb, the first light bulb had wires. You had to go on the ladder if you wanted it on the ceiling, on the wall, and twist wires, risk your life. And they invented the light bulb socket, A, for safety reasons, and B, to create a world standard. And that's how the light bulb, when it's easy to do, everyone does it. And the simplicity of what we have, simplicity is a very key thing. You mentioned it before, and I totally agree with you. When you simplify life, even the sky is not the limit, right?
Right. Even the sky is not the limit. That's a very good way to put it. So, all right. So the fundamental guys, they might take a look at this and wonder, wow, how does a company that just went public and, essentially is still waiting on NEC and has, yes, had some sales, but how do you get a valuation of $1 billion? And that's about right where the market cap is right now, right?
Yes. And that's really probably the combination of the safety aspects we have with the smart aspects that I think we should share.
Well, I want to, but I want to bring up the stock and without even talk about going how the other portion yet. What you're talking about, if the Sky socket becomes the standard, and why wouldn't it? I mean, from just a logical standpoint, it reduces time of installation, it reduces risk to hazards and being hurt. It's just as it's not going to be overly priced. It's just as maybe even less expensive. So just that alone, if you think about all of the homes that are future homes that are going to be built, future commercial properties that are going to be built, why wouldn't an engineer or an architect firm spec that in? Why would you go with something that is old, antiquated? I would say that alone, what's the size of that market? Just that market, I can assure you it's a lot more than $1 billion.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's funny because, as I said before, we went on the NEC only for safety aspects, like eliminate the touching of wires when you go. And we never thought about it as a valuation thing. We just thought, we can produce other products that can plug and play into it and sell them more often when it's easy to do. And that's really what we're saying. Now, in our world, I don't believe anyone is going to vote against, eliminating 90% in the time of ladder and touching hazardous wires. And that's probably what happened with other products like the GFCIs and others. So we strongly believe that should happen and will happen. And we have, thank God, a lot of people joined our team that, including the head of the NEC and other senior NEC members that really, former members that really strongly believe this. And also on a global aspect, people understand. And because it's safety, you need to change your mindset. So when it's safety, it's not a gadget, lifestyle better, just safety aspect. And when you have safety, like the airbag, there's a good chance that when you get it here, it can go internationally, because saving lives in today's era, and we have a lot of data on how much lives we're saving, how many hazardous incidents, how many fires take place because of wrong wiring, and many, many sad things that are happening there. So once we're going to publish this data and everything, we believe that can be adopted in many other places. But obviously, and that's important to say, is as we never thought about this is beyond safety. It's just like, right. I bet you the many people, a lot of inventions in the world happened not because, how much dollars they're going to make. What happened because how important it is to society and how important it is to life. And this is how this invention started. It was ridiculous, the time saving, the cost saving, but saving lives. That's why I took myself and decided to invent my first product, because I saw it needs to happen. Okay. But I didn't bank on this because the regulators, they have their own path and it takes the time. So we built a whole line of products that not related to the NEC, not related to anything we do. We're going to start selling in the second half of the market.
But and actually, the new the stuff we're about to get into actually even creates more of a security and safety component to your already safe product, right? I mean, that
Correct. Correct. It enhances safety on a higher level. And I start with this here. So now you can see on the left here, the plug and play that we talked about for so much. So you go to a fixture, that's a base of the fixture, you plug it in. You see on the right-hand side, you see ceiling fans, exit signs, emergency light, chandeliers, wall sconces. We're going to have a version also for recessed lights and etc. So really plug and play all those fixtures makes a lot of sense for safety and time saving. But also what makes a lot of sense for us is making, on the same token, not only plug and play, smart pictures. So if you see the center photo here on the left here, has a electronic board, what we call a PCB electronic board, PCB. And this PCB has a brain, so you can schedule time, use echo mode, save electricity, and also talk to the fixture, control it through your app, or talk to it. You ask the fixture, dim it to 30%, dim it to 80%. If it's a ceiling fan, dim it or put it on level 2, put it on level 4. So you can talk to it through Siri, through Google Home, Alexa, and Samsung, and many other products that we're an open system. It's integrated. It's going to work with all of those things. So really, if you think about it, how many times today and every day in America at 7 p.m. people are going to go, honey, can you please turn on the light? Oh, the light, it's too dark there. Or you forgot the light here, forgot the light there. And what we're doing is just go to your cell phone, type something, or talk. If you're next to the fixture, you talk to it. But if you're far away, just go to the cell phone, go to our app, the Sky Home app, and just control your fixtures. Or what happens when you leave home in a rush and you're not at home and you left all the fixtures in the house on. So you can always control it. And imagine if you went, 35 years ago, I believe, before the TV remote control was invented, every time you wanted to change a channel, you went to the TV. So that happens, today in the world. Okay, every day, I think hundreds of millions of times that people walk to the switch, forget the switch, go up the stairs, down the stairs, forget the outdoor lights. And I think that's going to be part of the past, because as we use it, and imagine buying a TV without a remote control. Or if you go to Best Buy today, no one's going to charge you more for a TV because it has a remote control. No one's going to say, oh, you need $50 extra, because it's an electronic board. And once you printed them in a million, the cost becomes not relevant. So we strongly believe that the cost down the road of those fixtures are going to be affordable for everyone. And it's going to become a standard. You're going to buy a ceiling fan or a light fixture. It's going to be there, plug and play for safety reasons and time saving, and smart as a standard. And it's not going to even cost more significant, because it shouldn't. And that's really our goal, to lead and seed with some fixtures, but then seed to the market and share with the OEMs and licensing and everyone, the plug and play and the smart technology. So this is a really industry that we believe that we can revolutionize, make it safer, easier, faster, and much more enhanced lifestyle once you do it.
So I want to bring something.
And also, by the way, it's going to have a natural emergency light. It can change the ambience of your color in the room. It's going to have a night light. You're going to have a lot of features that night light, you need to plug out on the wall. You don't need anymore with us. You have it as part of the base of the fixture. Emergency light. No one has emergency lights in your room. You can't open a business without emergency light. But in your house, when you spend 80% of your time, you don't need one. That doesn't make sense. People fall, people trip when there's dark.
So before you go there, let me. I want to bring something up that was personal, because I showed my mom this stuff because I thought this was really an incredible invention. And actually, the first thing I said actually, my mom and I are very similar. She said, well, why didn't you think of that? And I said, well, I thought the same damn thing when I saw it, was why didn't I think of that? Right. But my mom said, it's really cool, Tim, but I like my light fixtures. I like my ceiling fan. And, why would I need that? Why? I mean, it is a great invention, but why would I need that? I wouldn't change out my stuff. And I thought that was an interesting take on it. And maybe you can give me some kind of a reason as to why my mom might want to change that.
So first of all, if you like your fixture and you don't want to change it, that's one thing. Okay. But for seasons, sometimes for holidays, the plug and play solution gives you a lot of stuff. Or you see a fixture. So it's a big barrier when you need to you like, oh, you don't like a fixture and it's old and it doesn't work okay, and the light is not enough, and many times the light is not enough, or the big factor is you want to move to LED, okay? Because LED saves you a huge amount of your electrical bill, and a lot of fixtures are becoming LED, but not every fixture can accommodate LED. And so sometimes you want to, for that's enough reason just to save your utility bills. It's a good enough reason. But for any reason you want to plug and play, you don't know what's happening tomorrow, so you plug and play, and you can do it. So even your mom, and if she wants to buy a new fixture, it's easy to plug and play. But then the smart features she has in the room, okay, she can stay in her bed and say, turn on the light, please. Or you don't just, by the way, in our code, you don't need to say please, but you can say the way you plan it. But you go to Siri, turn on the light, dim it to 30%. You want to go to sleep. You don't need to go, you're tired. You don't need to go off and turn your light there, off your light. So for convenient things, she can talk to the fixture through Siri and other smart features, but she can also go to her phone and just dim it, because people today always have their phones next to them, so you can control it. So it's going to make her life much easier, okay, even if she likes the fixture. And the beauty is, if she likes the fixture, you can go to, I think, the bottom of this picture, you see the smart bases that include the emergency light, the color changing and everything, and the smart features. So you can go to an existing chandelier, a crystal one, or anyone you have it, just buy a retrofit smart base, and that smart base, you can change your fixture, you plug it back, and suddenly, and not only easy to install, it's smart. You can talk to it, you can control it through your app, the smart app we have. So I think that's a good reason. If you tell this to your mom, I think you'll convince her. But talking about your mom, if I may say, and our second generation product, my parents, I was blessed, lived with me in the last several years of their life, good years, 7, 8 years, or 10 years almost of their life. And when my mom got older, and they both passed in the meantime, last several years. And when my mom, in the older days, the last days, she was really sick and staying in a room most of the time. And I said to myself, the next generation product that we have, with the intercom, with everything we have, with, features down the road that will enable her to call her doctor, or she fell down and it's just there on the ceiling, was a lifesaver. So mentioning your mom, I was also always thinking of what I wish, when my mom was still alive, I would be ready to go with that product, but didn't happen. But I believe it's about to happen this second half of this year, where we really have all the prototyping and it works for a long time, and we tested it, and we're finalizing that product, and we believe we can go and create some pre-sales second half of this year.
So I think that is such a huge example that you just gave of, now that's something that immediately I want to call my mom and say, you know why you need this thing? Because if you fall down and you can't get up, you can call 911 or call me or call the neighbor from the floor, right? And not have to, and that is huge, right? I mean, that is a huge thing.
Yeah, and that's for a second generation product. Those are the safety aspects we add. And if you want to go show the second generation features, and I can
absolutely.
kind of
So let's
mention them. So yeah, that's all you can show. Okay, so really,
let's kind of start here, because that kind of gives you the.
So we believe that the iPhone, for example, I'm holding, is really a smart personal platform that we have. And imagine what would you do today without your smartphone? If it's an iPhone, if it's a Samsung, it's an Android, or any phone you have, okay, LG and others. So imagine if that was just, you didn't have this. But we can't with this, because it has so many features. So if you see on the left, if I asked you 10 years ago or more, do you have a flashlight? Do you have a compass? Do you have a video camera, a map, a camera, newspaper, whatever? Okay, you would say, let me look in my bag. It's funny, when you ask someone today that question, they'll tell you no in the beginning, but then they'll tell you, I don't need it because I have it on my phone. So when you ask them the question, they say no, but they're so used to all of those features. The video camera, the flashlight, the compass, everything is inside, okay? A measure tape, everything you want is inside the phone. So the all-in-one smart concept, okay, having those devices all in one was really the vision we had in the company, that to go conduct the airbag model on the standard product, but then to go to the smart world and do the all-in-one concept, really similar to the iPhone. And we said to ourselves, okay, every person deserves a smart personal platform, but we believe that every room, okay, for safety reasons and smart lifestyle reason, really needs all-in-one smart platform that you have all of those features. Because if you think about it, we spend most of our lives in our rooms, in our homes, and that's even pre-COVID. Okay, with COVID, much more, but we spend most of the time. That's where we sleep. That's the most important place for us. Now, you can't open a business in America, for example, in the country, without having an emergency light, an exit, all those important features. Okay, you need to have. Okay, and in your room, it's fine. You don't have them, and because it's complex. Okay, so we came with a solution that takes all the smart gadgets and put an all-in-one. And the same concept of an iPhone. iPhone is a personal platform. This is a platform for every room that enhances your lifestyle and adds many safety aspects. And if you go, and I'll show what safety aspects. So we have a smart, we will have a smart smoke detector. We will have a smart CO detector, emergency light, night light. Oh, you can change also the ambience of the room with this, any color you want, the GB LED thing that can change any color of the light. And we'll have a 4G. We have a backup battery that not only enable the emergency light for 2 days, probably the battery could afford, or maybe more. It's also going to enable you emergency internet in case you use power. And then we have all the lifestyle things that we add to it, the speakers, Wi-Fi extender, and all kinds of necessities, temperature, humidity, all of the things you want to be in your room when you want to know, what's going on, and you want to feel safe, and you want to listen to better sound of music and many other features we have. And you want to also plug and play your fixtures. So it's a kind of a flying saucer that sits on your outlet box, and you can still put on your fixture inside. So it's kind of an all-in-one, making smart homes, enabling you to make a smart home within minutes. So the bottom picture, when you see the red, those are all the smart sensors that one would want to make a one bedroom become smart. Here you have an opportunity to make a one bedroom become smart. It takes you 3 days. That's a standard today, more or less, because you need to put new wires. You need to put so many gadgets around the room in different sizes. Each one needs power. So, and then you want them to talk to each other. All of those are challenging things that take you a couple of days to make happen, to bring to a perfection. Now, on the right side, you see our platform, the same concept of the plug and play. It can be installed to the ceiling really quickly, and then you can plug in a fixture, but it has all the smart stuff that I just mentioned and all the safety stuff that we mentioned all in one. So you have two solutions. One of them is couple of days, one of them is a couple of minutes. Which one are you betting on? Okay, it's a very easy bet, to my opinion. Now, before one signs the check, or of the bet, he said, okay, so I have one question, and then this question that, which one works better? All the gadgets on the left with different frequencies, or the one that you install in 3 minutes.
And not only that, but it also have to be individually plugged in, which means,
yeah.
And even if they're not turned on, they're drawing power, right? So
they can they can draw power as well. So that's an energy safety aspect that we can bring with one device.
Which is an ESG component, by the way, right? An ESG is a big thing moving forward. Smart buildings and corporations in general, environment, social, right? All of that ESG movement is big. And this actually helps corporations and households become, not that households have to be ESG compliant, but it does help companies obtain their carbon footprint shrinkage, right?
Yeah, I agree. Everyone wants to, save energy no matter what. And with us, we have an eco mode that you can also, on the first generation, second generation smart, you can always use the eco mode and consume less electricity on anything you do. So that's a feature. And I agree with you that every business, every person wants to save energy. So that doesn't hurt. And what I was just saying is, regarding the left picture, when you see all those smart gadgets in different places of the room and each one needs their own power and it takes days to install and here minutes to install, when you ask the question which one works better, I like to answer that usually with actually a question to people. So if you go to the Apple slide or the smartphone slide with all the apps, it's like asking someone which one works better, all those singular apps on singular devices and each one has a screen and each one different frequency, or all in one synchronized in your smartphone. This is a simple electronic answer, and when you're in one frequency, all in one, it always works better and reacts faster. So not only you save time and money, it also works better. And I can tell people, if you go back to that slide, that to that slide with the smart room, this one, that we strongly believe that if you got those fixtures somewhere, bought them in Amazon or Best Buy or any other place, and you brought them home, you bought them online, you got them home, and then you already paid for them or you got them as a gift, doesn't matter. But if you bring an installer to start installing a smart one bedroom even, okay, it's going to charge you much more than our device in your ceiling, paid for and installed. And that's, you save 90% of the time and I think over 50% of the cost of the installation itself by just putting this, and you pay for the fixture for the smart platform, and you have your room all smart within minutes, and it's going to cost you less. And that's the first question you asked me, what about the time saving? So I said, and it enhances the safety, saves times, okay, and reduces the cost. When you reduce time by 90-something%, the cost always reduced by the same formula, more or less. So that's, I think, also, you said it before, but I agree with you. It's a key factor.
Here's a really, really, really important factor. Not only does it save costs, same time, safer, safety, but it also improves performance in some instances, right?
Correct. And it's funny because if you take, for example, a table lamp, it's just a bulb, okay, 60 watts, and you put it in the corner of a room in your house, you're going to have a nice glow of light of that corner of the room, okay? But the rest of the room, if it's dark, it's going to stay kind of dark. But if you take the same light bulb, okay, and put it in the top center of the ceiling, what's going to happen if it's a 60-watt bulb? What's going to happen to the entire room? The entire room is going to glow. Okay, we put it in the corner has a glow. You put it in the center, suddenly the entire room glows. So what I'm trying to say here, the smartest people on the planet over 100-something years ago took the smartest product on the planet, the light bulb, and said to maximize performance, put it in the top center of the ceiling. And this is exactly what we're doing with all the gadgets, all the features we have. When you put them in the top center of the ceiling, and you think about, if you go to hotels, you go to any place you go, you see speakers on the ceiling, you see sensors on the ceiling, you see smoke detectors, CO detectors, all kinds of things on the ceiling. Why? Because the ceiling is the best location to maximize performance. But you don't want to have a whole room with so many gadgets in your room. So we have the all-in-one solution. Everything you put up there is going to be enhanced. And one of the best examples is, if you think about high-speed internet, okay? If you go to the major companies in the world that sells you Wi-Fi extenders or routers, they're gonna ask them where to the best place to locate my Wi-Fi extender router. They're gonna find a tall shelf, put it in the top shelf in the center of the ceiling. Who does it? No one. If you look at the slide on the left, this is bottom left is where you plug in your router or your Wi-Fi extender. Why? Because that's where the outlet is, okay? But on the same concept of the light bulb, if you take the chip, and we have significant amount of electronic real estate, so to add a chip size of a stamp of a Wi-Fi extender to our platform is very easy. When you take a chip, okay, of Wi-Fi, and move it from the bottom of the room where your outlet is to the top center of the ceiling, you can almost double the speed of internet. And even more than this, like in the light bulb, you can triple the range that you get out of the internet because there's no blockages, no interruption. It's a straight path, exactly like the light bulb.
Because as you hit furniture or any other object,
and when it comes from low, you hit many objects, any furniture, anything, and it stays low. Here it comes from top and goes to bottom, and no interruption. No, it doesn't have interrupting objects, as you can see on the left picture towards the white. So that's also, and when we say we make, we enhance safety and a smart home lifestyle, we mean because think about every room now has 4 or 5 bars as a standard. Who doesn't want this? So that's also, I believe, a key factor. And if you go to the slide, just this one that's above a bit, just
Up.
this one, yes. So this is really, we're an open system. We want to work with everyone, okay? And we are working, adding a lot of the main, companies like the Surreys, the Apples and the Googles and the Amazons and the Samsungs and, all the major companies were adding their codes to be, open system so we can integrate with every company. But if you really think about it, that's our model too. Like kind of, if you want to say like the Panama Canal, we don't really mind, okay, what type of ship passes through will help it to make it happen. So if it's a cruise ship, a container ship, or any other type of ship will pass the Panama Canal, the same with us. Any smart home company wants to be in every room, and we can help them, get there in a very easy way. Because if you think about the size of an iPhone, look at how many electronic real estate you have on this device here, okay? And think about the amount of apps. So our size is probably 3 times bigger in the top center of the ceiling on the electronic real estate we can accommodate. So just think about, and we're not going to say everything now, but how many things we can bring to your room that you want them there. You sometimes don't know. So I mentioned the necessities, the big ones, the safety aspects, but the fast speed internet and the speakers, and color changing, but there's so many more things that we can bring, and we'll have work on subscription models there's many companies that want to be in every, show me actually a company that doesn't want to be in every room. And I think we enable it to happen. And our business model is really to cooperate with everyone and work with everyone and create win-wins and help everyone to get to every room while we are trying to get to every room. And we have a lot of electronic real estate to share.
So I'm gonna kind of poke a little bit here, and I'm thinking a little bit outside of the box maybe, but you're a hardware component designer. However, there is a strong probably possibility or likelihood that at some point you could also have some kind of a recurring revenue subscription type model, right?
Yes, correct. Because what we started, as you said, our first product was hardware, and then we moved to the tech. We started 5 years ago, and that's when we started opening the Israeli office with helping us with the tech arm there. The great, tremendous people there. We actually have our CTO is one of the guys that was in charge of building another company named eToro. It's an Israeli company, I think went public through a SPAC, but they're kind of a Robin Hood that has bonds and other stuff. I believe he built their cloud, and then he built another cloud for a company named SimilarWeb that's also a NASDAQ company. I think each one of them on a few $1 billion market cap. He's our CTO now. When he joined us a few years ago, we really enhanced everything we're doing on smart. And it opened up to a subscription model that we are in discussions now. We can't say with who or what, but once we launch our product next year, there are many companies that would like to use our electronic real estate space that it's quite significant.
And you don't necessarily have to be the person or the company that comes up with the new software and that you're subscribing to, but you're providing the platform in which these people that already have a software as a service can participate in. And for that, you don't need to charge them a bunch of money to do that, but you take a portion, you should get a portion for providing the real estate, right?
Correct. So just giving them the access to, that's why I like to compare it to the Panama Canal model, giving them the fast access. What does Panama Canal do? It saves 70% of the time of travel from US to China, for example, and it probably saves 70% of fuel too. So it's a kind of a win-win. And here we have electronic real estate because the ingredients, the most important ingredients we have here is all those smart home gadgets today. If you go to that other picture when it shows the 2 rooms, compare this one. Yeah. Each one of them their oxygen is power. Okay, so on the top center of the ceiling on the right picture, you can see we have kind of unlimited power. Why I say kind of unlimited? Because most of those gadgets are low voltage. Okay, so in low voltage, and you have the outlet up there, we really have almost unlimited power. And then we have almost, if you look at the iPhone, and we have 3-4 times more electronic real estate than the iPhone, so we almost have unlimited electronic real estate that we can use on many of our things, but we'll be more than open, and we are already in discussions to find win-wins. And we also, to remind you, part of our agreements with G is a global master service licensing model that we can license to other company some aspects of the platform or the platform itself, for if they want their software completely. So we're kind of an open mind company that integrates and collaborates with other companies to create win-wins. That's really what we are as a company, if you really think our goal, and to make life easier, safer to everyone, including when it comes here. Another, I think, important aspect we have, as I mentioned before, so the 3 aspects we have is unlimited electronic real estate, almost unlimited power, almost, okay, and then we believe the best location of the room is top center of the ceiling. And here I see you're showing some use cases. So on the top left is hotels, and then it's cruise ships. That can be a hospital, elder living, home care. As I mentioned earlier, I wish I had it when my mom was alive, but that was something as developing it, I was thinking on a daily basis how much that could help me if my mom needed something. And people get old, and trust me, they fall and they're alone at home, and I'm aware of how that was needed. That's a big push for us, and it can work for office space, commercial, and retail as well. It's a really all-in-one platform that provides so much, and the beauty about a platform that we can enhance it. Every new version we're going to come is going to have more feature. By the way, if you look at the iPhone, think about the first iPhones that came out. We thought we have the best item ever. And then, if we go backwards, you see, compared to today, how much more we have. Every version has
So
much more.
Let me kind of highlight. So I'm in Vegas, right? And and I'll just give you an example. The Bellagio, every holiday, they redo their lobby, right? With some kind of new design. I think about this thing, and I think about how party planners and interior designers are just going to have this field day, right? Because what would have been a very complicated thing to change out a bunch of chandeliers for, let's say, if your hotel's got a big banquet room, and one night you have the black tie affair, but then the next night you've got, I don't know, a 70s disco theme, where you're going to put up disco balls, right? That is like a party planner's dream, right?
I agree. Yeah.
And the same thing for hotels and anybody that, even restaurants that want to have, change things up or create a different theme for Cinco de Mayo or whatever, right? The opportunities, this is like I don't even think you can comprehend all of the benefits that this thing provides.
and really, I can really, we put our life here, and we've got so many good people to help us and join us. And because we know, as you said, there's so many more things that are to come. Stay tuned. But I think we have a good start. But yes, with the team, designed for hotels, for holidays, think about studios in Hollywood, think about many, exhibitions that you need to change the sites. And the plug and play solution can help so many industries. And stay tuned, there's more to come that we're not announcing yet, but there are. And one of the things that you reminded me when you talked about hotels, if you can go back to the beginning of the presentation.
Yep.
So if you see the top right, there's a 1-bedroom. We said it takes minutes, but imagine you have a big house. If you want to install today to make a house become smart, it would take you weeks, if not months, and cost is enormous. Here you have we believe around a price of an iPhone, a platform per room, and you can install it in minutes per room. So you can have 10 rooms, 20 rooms, any room you want to. It's going to take you a few hours to make a large home become smart. And not only it works better, the smart features, It also saves you all the time of installations, and you can get it done right away without having people in your house coming back and forth with, this is wrong, this needs to be adjusted, this needs to be changed. You do it by yourself and you have your room smart. Now, if you go to the next one with the tall building, and that's where the Vegas one. So think about rental properties, and today a rental property is called a rental property. But with our fixture here, you can take in 3 minutes for a rental property per unit. Like, let's say they have a high rise with 200 units, 400 units, with 3 minutes per unit. So a few days, you can take an entire building and make it smart. If you want to make a smart building today happen in general, and if, again, I like to say, people been to the moon 1969. How come no one in the world came with a solution to make buildings become smart as a standard? We've done so many things in the world because there was it's a complexity of it and all the headaches associated with installations and lagging products. So if you wanted to do a smart building today, okay, in the old way, it's going to take you over a year, okay, and it's going to probably cost you millions. Okay, if you want to take a tall building that has 200 units, 400 units, 100 units, whatever, if you want to convert it to smart today in this world, where the world is today, it's going to take you at least a year, and it's going to cost you many, many millions of dollars to make a building become smart. Let's say a rental building, a hotel. You mentioned you're in Vegas. Think about hotels. If they want to make it smart today, each hotel there is going to take a few years probably, or at least a year to make it smart. And the cost in the millions, if not in the tens of millions. Okay. With our product, what we do is you can take the biggest hotels in Vegas or any apartment building that has a few hundred units, and in 3 minutes per unit, okay, you can convert it to smart. So think about hundreds of units. Okay. So it's going to take you a few days. Think about hotel in Vegas. It can take you days to make an entire hotel in Vegas smart. Okay. And that's why you mentioned in the beginning about the safety aspect with the code. Yeah, we have the code. We're doing what we need to do there. That's for safety reasons. That's what we call the airbag model. But here we have real solutions that enhance safety, enhance smart, and that in this world, everyone needs and wants. And so it's a combination of a necessity almost, okay? Because safety aspects are a necessity, but is fast internet, a speed internet necessity? I would, argue that you ask the young generation for sure, 100%, it's the number one necessity for them. And I think also us, because everything we do today is based on internet and Wi-Fi and all the other communications types. So that's a big win for large buildings as well as for small personal condos. And it really, bottom line on this product and all the other products we have, it serves consumers and serves building owners, rental apartment, new construction. And one of the key things we have, the smart platform and all our products are good for existing homes and smart and new homes. Now, the market of new homes, I think it's around 1.5 million homes a year, when the market of the existing homes is 130 million existing homes, I think, in America today. And think about hotels and commercial buildings, the numbers are really mind-boggling. And that's most of the market. We can help people with existing homes convert to smart, as well as people with brand new homes. So
you just think about the guys that buy homes and flip them, right? The thought of spending the money to create a smart home now, as it exists today, that probably would not be something that you would lean towards doing, because the cost benefit analysis wouldn't work, right? It's
right.
Cost too much, and you may not be able to get that out of the home sale price if you're trying to flip it quickly, right? So this all of a sudden makes it goes from something that you consider and say, nah, take too long, cost too much, to why wouldn't I mean, I need to do this because it's going to take 3 minutes and it makes the whole damn house smart, right? So boom, they're going to do it. At least that's how I would see it. Like I said, the benefits of this thing and the industries that will be impacted, we can't even fully comprehend, I would suggest, at this point in time, right? There's just so much to absorb if you really sit down and try to think it out, right? And there's just a lot to absorb there. So listen, I don't want to take up Ronnie, you've done a phenomenal job. What I want to do real quickly is talk about the stock itself. I mean, you just did an IPO, and in this market, I have to tell you, from a technical standpoint, the stock is holding up incredibly well, right? I mean, the market is seeing a lot of volatility. There's a lot of uncertainty out there. This Russia-Ukraine thing definitely has not helped. We just got through 2 years of COVID, which was supply chain issues and all these other things. And the stock has just been kind of basing, right? And I think probably it's waiting on a couple of things. It's, the NEC thing, I think, could be a big catalyst. When that is actually finalized and you're certified, that would be something that I think would move the stock. How many shares, Ronnie, are there fully diluted and outstanding with the company? Do you know? Is it just
I believe outstanding probably 80 million and fully diluted future options, maybe 95 million, but 80 million, I think, outstanding. That's fair to say.
okay?
Oh, 79, but I think I'm rounding up a bit.
And how are you on cash? Do you feel as though, and this will be something everybody's worried about, because rising interest rates, right? Inflation, do you feel as though you're good on cash? Do you think you're going to have to do a cap raise, or?
We raised just pre-IPO probably 20 million more or less, and then in the IPO itself, we wanted to raise only 20 million for now. And main reasons for this, because we are, as I said, most of our people working for based on the stock incentive and based on betting on their own success, and that's a huge blessing to have from a few purposes. Is obviously cash flow wise, but the conviction you have from people that are betting, I'm willing not to work for a payment, okay, and how devoted to the business is, no check will buy. That's the first thing. The second thing is that helps us majorly into your question with the burn rate. So we have a very low burn rate. That's a few $1,000,000 a year. It's now we're public. It's going to be a few $1,000,000 more, but we're talking about $5-6 million of a burn rate. And we have probably almost 30 million in the bank, a bit less than 30 million. So we're good with this. We do have many offers that people want to give us money as we're in the public markets. We're not running to take any offer we have. I can tell you we have so many offers. I'm surprised to the offers, but we want to take the right dollars from the right people if we need this, and we will believe we can get much higher valuations also. And we also believe that we're going to have pre-sales. That's how we're going to launch all our products, with pre-sales. So we're not in need. When you do pre-sale, it's mostly marketing, and based on the safety aspects we have, we're going to create a global campaign, or US, when we start launching campaign on the safety aspects. That safety is almost a fiduciary, I would say, obligation by media outlets to cover, but really
so getting the self-sustainability is not a tall order. This is a pretty you can see it, right, being a very feasible thing in a very short period of time.
Yes. And we because we start with pre-sales and our burn rate is low, we're really not in great need of cash, but I'm not arguing it's always better to have more and less. We do have more, okay, if our burn rate stays so low, and I believe it will not be a large burn rate. And and once we start the pre-sales, it also, we can bridge that factor into knowing exactly how much we order, and we have suppliers working with us, and so we have like terms, and we have options for bank line of credits and other facilities that are willing to work with us and want to work with us. So for now, we're really great, and if we will need more, we'll definitely get more. But I think we're in a very good situated now with cash for
all right,
a while.
So let me just I want to sum this up the way I view this. Okay. So first of all, I am not telling anybody to buy the stock. I am not a financial advisor. That is not what I do. All I am suggesting at this particular point in time is if you've listened to everything that we just discussed, if you don't recognize the opportunity that lies here, I don't know what else I could possibly do. I think it's very clear, very concise. There is, Ronnie, let me ask you this, and I ask everybody this. What's the thing that could go wrong? What's the landmine? What's the potential, uh-oh, didn't see that coming? What, and I always try to look at any company I'm looking to invest in, what would be that thing? What do you think could go wrong and ruin this whole story?
So listen, as a business owner, you always hope for the best and prepare for the worst. I believe that's something very important. So someone that says that nothing can go wrong is not telling the truth. Everything can go wrong in many places. But what we did in the company is, because we based on safety, many things we do, safety is a necessity. You can have regulators, insurance companies behind you, and that minimizes your risk because you are saving lives. And if you can prove you're saving lives, you're in a good spot. Okay. So just having this by itself minimizes the risk of everything else we do. Now, when we sell our products, okay, there are also tremendous safety in those products. So it's not only the regulators, the life-saving aspects of those products. And, and we open up, we're going to have maybe competition, and it's okay for a company, to want to be a Coca-Cola, but end up being a Pepsi or another good drink, Red Bull, God knows who. But I'm saying is the market is big. The TAM is over 500 billion. We need a fraction of this. And we have so much product out there. And we have the smart ceiling fans that we're going to be the only one in the world to plug and play smart ceiling fans that we're about to launch. And we have so many exit strategies here between the safety aspects, between the versatility of the products we have, and the relationships we have, and the plug and play smart fan and plug and play smart fan with a heater. So it's going to be the only plug and play smart fan that you can, talk to, dim it. And some of them has also for the summer, you have the blades. For the winter, you have the heater. So it's an all-in-one solution. And there's many people believe we can sell millions of them. So we have the versatility we have, and it's all based on safety. I think minimizes the risk, but as you said, the COVID happened, the war, the Russia-Ukraine situation never helps, and competition is there. And by the way, the best cure for competition, and I think we have it in one of our relationship with G, is also the licensing, that we open ourselves to licensing and integration with other companies. So we're not really trying to compete. We're trying to create win-wins here, okay, and make another company better by being better. And opening yourself to licensing also prevents from people to spend millions of dollars in R&D when you can have a solution right away and just pay us the licensing.
This is what I would say, and here's how I view it. The reason I asked about how long it is taking you with the NEC is that's what somebody's looking at. If they're just wanting to get started to compete, right, is a 7 to 8 year path. So as I'm looking at this thing, I'm looking at the size of the moat, and then I'm thinking to myself, okay, so if somebody really wants to come up with a competing outlet, they got a lot of time that they're going to have to do it. And why would you? Is it going to be better? Is it going to have some kind of a performance advantage? The amount of money that it would cost to come up and develop and go through that whole process, why would you do that if you can just partner with the guy that's already got the system in place? Right.
And this is part of our business plan, is, as I said before, is to license and really fair, fair licensing. We're not, and we have those, intentions, and, we cannot create a safety standard without sharing it with everyone. And we're more than happy.
When you say it's a win-win, I think it's a win-win-win. It's better for the consumer. It's a better product. It's a simplified product of many products. It is a win for the contractors that are doing the installation. It's a win for the building owners that are building the buildings that want to have occupancy. There are so many wins. It's better for the patients that are in hospice or in the hospital and need, may need assistance, or there are so many things that you just can't even, like I said, you can't even comprehend it. And to really guess at what the size of the TAM is, I think is just that. It's a guess, because I think it could be many multiples of what we're currently thinking now. So, I mean, there's just a lot to take in. And, I look at I just noticed this today, sanitizing lights, which is something that is kind of big right now with the UV and COVID and the UV rays killing. I mean, there are so many different applications. It's like I said, mind-boggling. So, and I doubt, Ronnie, from getting to know you the little bit that I've gotten to know you, I doubt this is the end of it. I think there's probably more stuff coming, right?
Yeah, listen, yes, it is actually. We like what we're doing, and we have great people. We're a very innovative company, and we like what we're doing, and we have great ideas. And I think the ceiling is opening a new place to a new stage to perform. And I think we'll have more hopefully surprises down the road, and more cool products that actually we're working on now. And I think some of them are going to be really cool and surprise other people. But as we said, we have enough to start from now, so we need to start from somewhere. And hopefully we're going to start launching the second half of this coming year. There's the chip crisis that doesn't help everything as fast as we want, but we think between our Israeli office and everything, we got a good handle on the chips we need. And
you partner with GE, and they're not going to partner with somebody that can't fulfill delivery and manufacturing obligations, right?
Yeah, because they're approving our factory. The most important thing for GE is the quality. And to get a GE approved factories is a great factor, because it's their reliability and responsibility in manufacturing, and those manufacturers are really qualified. In order to pass the GE quality control, you need to really pass the Six Sigma audit plus the quantity audit. So working with good factories gives us more credibility and reliability towards for sure for GE, but for the consumers too. So it's a great win-win. I agree with you.
Okay, so I'm going to wrap this up really concisely. The things that are most important to me is first and foremost leadership, and that's why I always want to interview the people that are leading the charge, right? You can have a good product or a good service. If you don't have great leadership, I think the odds are stacked against you. Now, I think you're an amazing individual, a brilliant person, but it's not just you. You've assembled around you an unbelievably impressive mind share, wisdom, talented team all around you, right? And to me, that's the number one important thing to me. And you've got oodles of unbelievable people on your team. So that is a check in the box for me, right? The size of the addressable market, we've already talked about it. I think we can't even comprehend it. So that's another check, right? The valuation, or, if people from a fundamental side want to look at the valuation and maybe question that, you really need to ask yourself, how big is this market? And then think about other companies that are on the valuations of some other companies that are out in the marketplace today. And if those valuations make sense to what they're being valued at, right? I mean, everyone likes to think that Wall Street, this is really efficient pricing mechanism. It's really not. I mean, there are companies that are extremely overvalued, and there are companies that are extremely undervalued, right? It's not a perfect pricing mechanism. So I think the valuation is actually, and this is my opinion, very cheap for what you're looking at as a total addressable market. And that's just without all the smart stuff, just the fan itself. I think this is a pretty cheap valuation. That's my opinion. That and $5 will get you a pretty decent cup of coffee. right? So there's not a balloon share count. This is a fairly small share count. I think anything under 100 million shares is a fairly small share count. You have insider participation. You've said repeatedly that people aren't getting paid a salary, that they're taking stock options, and because they believe in the story. So you've got passion, you've got a product that essentially, when we talk about the Apple iPhone and all the apps, the big differentiator for me is there's only one platform. There is no other phone. There is no other Apple. There's one. I mean, think about that for a minute. Really back up and think about that for a second. If you had to buy just an Apple iPhone and there were no other phones, no Samsung, no HTC, no Nokia, no nothing, that's a pretty impressive place to be positioned. So I mean, that is my wrap up on it. I don't know if there's anything that you would like to add, Ronnie, that maybe I missed, but I think this is a story that, look, even if you don't want to buy the stock today, in my view, this is a long-term hold. I want to make sure everybody understands that. That's how I'm viewing it. It's an investment. It's not a stock that you look to trade. It's kind of like a Disney. You buy it, you throw it in the drawer, and whenever you can, you add some more shares and just hold it for years, because I think this is going to be a household name at some point for years and decades to come. That's at least my thought.
So thank you, Tim. And, again, there's much more we could have said in the future, but I think you covered really nicely many aspects of the company. And to close with this, good people that we have here. We're really blessed to have this team, tremendous IQ around us, and everything is on safety. So you base your company on saving lives and saving hazardous, preventing from hazardous incidents or reducing injuries and hazardous incidents. I think we're in a good place, and enhancing lifestyle is a really, really strong statement to the market today. The smart home lifestyle is key too. So safety, smart home lifestyle, I think we have winners here. So I really thank you for your time and your interest, and those spread of questions, really good questions and fair questions.
Thank you, Ronnie,
thank you
so much for coming in. If we can, maybe after you have some things that develop, we'll do maybe a follow-up on. And
Sure.
if you got any, new initiatives that are coming out, maybe we can just do a little recap. I know this is a long interview, but here's the deal. I believe that your level of conviction when you're looking at investing in a company is the conviction that you have is how much you know, right? And if you know all of these things, if you were able to sit through this entire interview, you learned a lot. And that's what every investor should do before they even stick one penny into an investment. Learn as much as you possibly can about the company that you're investing. Know who you're investing with. And that's why it is a long interview, but you know what? To me, it's worth every single minute that you watch it. So you're getting educated, you're learning, and maybe you're even coming up with some of your own thoughts that are like, yeah, these guys are missing this. Good for you. That's your edge, right? But this is a fantastic story. Ronnie, I definitely want to have you back. If anybody is interested in learning more, you can go right above my head. Here is the investor relations link to their website. You sign up, you get the email alert sent directly to you anytime they have their news come out or an SEC filing. It's right there. Ronnie, you're awesome. I look forward to the follow-up, and go enjoy the rest of your day. And I can't wait to see the future for this company over the next couple of years.
Thank you, Tim. Great having you, and hopefully we'll come soon with some more good things.
Hey there, all you stock market junkies. Thanks for tuning in to yet another executive interview here at Alpha Wolf Trading. Today, we had Rani Kohen from SKYX Technologies, ticker symbol SKYX. I hope you enjoyed today's interview, and if you did, do us a favor, give us a like. Why not give us a share? And while you're at it, how about giving us a follow? Until next time, stay safe. Alpha Wolf Trading wishes you the very best of success.